What's up, Conroe? Welcome to a brand new edition of Nerd Thug Radio. We're hanging out here on 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations, and we're streaming worldwide at irlonestar.com. Make sure to hang out with us every Thursday for Nerd Thug Sports, streaming worldwide at irlonestar.com and on Sports Talk station.
I don't know.
We're in some group. We're somewhere else as well. You're hearing us in more than one place. You're welcome. As usual, it's myself, Corey DLG, and with me, as always, is little brother Nico.
That's me.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Pretty well, actually.
Better than the NBA.
Well, considering I've been doing nothing, and then they're about to be doing nothing.
Pretty much the same thing, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not doing as well as the NBA.
As well as the NBA, which you can't usually say.
No, yeah, usually.
Usually, a bunch of people aren't inside you spending $4 million a season. So.
Exactly.
On, stuff.
Right.
Popcorn and jerseys and stuff.
It's such a big thing.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. What do we do now? Sports are over.
Sports are now done.
Honestly, if you go to ESPN.com as of last night, every story on the front page was related to the coronavirus. Coaches getting it, players getting it, the league suspending, blah, blah, blah. Major League Baseball just talking about what to do, blah, blah, blah. It was all around the coronavirus. This thing is everywhere. National epidemic.
Right. Well, yeah. I think it's officially classified as a pandemic now.
It is. The World Health Organization said it's a pandemic. President Donald Trump was on television last night saying starting tomorrow, they will not allow travel from Europe via airplane. Although already I've seen some questions about that because a lot of people travel from Europe via the UK, which will somehow remain open to travel. So I don't know if that's the right move. Also, I also saw the question posed, what good's a travel ban when we already are dealing with the disease? So
slows down, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't watched the speech. Don't have enough information. I don't feel like a travel ban a month into it was the way to go. I think if you were going to do that,
you'd do it early.
You'd do it a month ago.
It wasn't that big a deal a month ago.
Well, no, it was, and we just acted poorly. China literally had closed cities and stopped sending things out from their ports a month ago.
Yeah. And
everyone else went, cool, good job, thanks, China, and then acted like there wasn't anything going on. Matter of fact, I saw a Twitter from somebody who they had a family member fly in from Italy before Italy obviously went into quarantine, and they said that customs wasn't checking anyone for temperature or symptoms as they were letting them through the gates.
Just letting...
So, fast forward a few days later, Italy is literally closed, and that all I could think about was that tweet where
it's a good thing it's in Italy. You could just
nothing about it.
Just take off the boot and then
all they've got to do is saw what, when you look on a map, is barely an inch. Just cut that much landmass, just blow that apart, and Italy will just float away in the ocean.
Right, yeah.
I don't think we know how continents work.
I don't know.
We may have to do a Nerd Thug geography at some point.
Just really getting into it. So we're the igneous rock.
Listen, here's the thing, man. I don't know where anything is on a map.
That's fair. I feel like that's one of the few things where I'm like, where is that again? I couldn't name all the states.
I've been playing that 270 game on my phone where I'm running for president, trying to get elected.
And you're like, where am I?
And the names of the states aren't on there. It's just the shapes. So when you click on it, it brings up the state name and the information about the state and how much money do you want to spend on ads here, blah, blah, blah. But from inside of the East Coast through the Midwest, I'm not 100% on what any of the states are.
Yeah.
And I've driven through a lot of them.
You've been to, I feel like, most of them.
I've been to a fair amount of them. And I think.
How many of the 50 states have you been to?
I think about 15.
That's pretty good.
I've been through the South, and then I've been to New York. I haven't been to I'd like to do a lot more on the Northeast, and I've never been to the West Coast.
Neither have I.
But I have been to Vegas.
Close enough.
So that's Nevada. Been in Nevada. So I think about 15 feels about right. The South.
Been to New Mexico and Colorado is about where I stop. I haven't gone any farther in any other direction.
And Louisiana.
Yeah, no, like I've gone the other way.
Oh, okay. That's how far you've gone west.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just New Mexico, Colorado, and that's where I stopped.
I've never been to Colorado. I've never been to New Mexico.
So I got 2 places you don't. Boom, got them.
True.
We've both been to Louisiana because we went together.
True.
I've been to Georgia and so I had to drove there.
I've been to Georgia.
Alabama.
Been to Alabama. Been to Mississippi. I've been to Florida. I've been to Arkansas. I've
never been to Arkansas.
Missouri.
Tori is now in Missouri.
I think I went. I don't remember if we ducked into South Carolina or not. Tennessee for sure. I think I've been to South Carolina. We went so.
I think I've been to North Carolina.
So my buddies and I, first summer after our freshman year of college, we sit down and decide we're going to go on a road trip basically through the South.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go to Louisiana, we go to Florida, we go Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and then we come back through Arkansas. And Arkansas. And so maybe we didn't. I thought we went to South Carolina, but now that I'm saying it all out, I don't remember going. So maybe we didn't. So maybe that's one less. Maybe it's only like 10 states then. But
so you've only been to a fifth of the United States.
20%. I'm 20% in. I could do better. Put me in, coach. But I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot going on, and it kind of weirds me out that I'm not surprised that we're closing stuff down. I think we should have been more aggressive and a little more honest about it and trusted. We live in this odd time period where all of a sudden every piece of scientific information has to have a motivation to it. It can't just be a fact. It's got to be but why? And so the World Health Organization, whose job it is to literally just monitor these things and keep people alive and safe, they've been politicized into being part of a globalist maneuver against a certain group of people. And the reality is, no, they're just trying to stop diseases.
Right, they're just trying to make sure you don't die.
And so suddenly there was a distrust of fact and a strong lack of desire to believe people when they said things like, hey, listen,
this is a big deal.
We don't need to be messing around with this. Italy did nothing and suffered the consequences. I think these are the right moves by us. I think this is what we have to do.
Yeah, canceling events, letting things play out. It's an important part of
because look, people aren't going
contained.
Right, because people aren't going to self-quarantine.
Right. Especially if they don't know or they haven't been tested. Even these tests that aren't out there, that's what's hard.
Oh, man. We're not testing people. We don't. It sounds like we don't want to test people. We don't want people to know. We don't want the real numbers out there. It feels like it.
Well, I heard the last I heard about it was that they're developing new tests, but they don't have enough to around to even test everyone.
Except they tested all the people who went to CPAC. They made sure.
Well, yeah, because those are politicians.
They made sure they tested all of them, even though most of them are asymptomatic currently. But they said, let's just test them anyway. Really, what those people should have done is they all should have just self-quarantined for 14 days. That's what Ted Cruz and Matt Gaetz did. Not going to be a lot of times where I say Ted Cruz and Matt Gaetz is right. This is one of them.
Right.
The proper thing to do when someone says, hey, you've been exposed to the coronavirus, potentially, someone you come into contact with recently has the virus, what you are supposed to do is then self-quarantine. That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, what if I create a super bug in my house, like the movie Contagion?
Yeah, that's crazy. What you definitely don't do is waste a test if you have no symptoms.
That's fair.
If we're having trouble mass-producing tests, if we can't get enough out there to get this tested, then you don't waste one just because it's Senator so-and-so from the great state of Alabama. Like, no.
It's the great state of Alabama. What are we supposed to do?
First of all, that statement is a lie.
The only great state's Texas.
Accurate. Second of all, been to Alabama, barely counts as a state.
Again, we were a country.
Right.
We are automatically better than every other state.
We accepted the designation of state.
Right.
We
they
didn't
were like,
need it.
do you want to stop being a country and join a state and join us in the states? And we were like, maybe.
Well, you know what? We'll call you next week. And
Right.
everyone was like, oh, yeah.
12 years. Country.
I guess let's do this. Let's real quick. I'm going to talk about Tiger Rock Martial Arts, and then we'll kind of go from there. Allow me to introduce you guys to Tiger Rock Martial Arts. With 4 great locations that are open to all members, Tiger Rock offers world-class training with top-level instructors teaching self-defense and jiu-jitsu, among other courses. Helping to improve your physical fitness and raise your confidence, Tiger Rock Martial Arts is able to start working with anyone 4 years old and up and show them the life skills and focus it takes to succeed in the modern world. Anyone seeking a fun, energetic way to make a positive life change needs to reach out to Tiger Rock Martial Arts and get started changing their life for the better today. How much time we got right here?
We got about 3 minutes.
Go ahead and do Adventure Begins, and then we'll get out to a break here.
All right. The Adventure Begins, comics, games, and more. They got all kinds of different stuff going on this week. Saturday, March 14th, at 5 p.m. is the Star Wars RPG, hosted by Jared Smith, and he would be immersed in a Star Wars RPG. So this is a great, Star Wars is like one of the best universes to roleplay in, I feel like. Come on down and get the basics, get to help you start playing the game. And then March 16th at 6 p.m. is the Harry Potter Trivia Night. So this is a great time if you're a huge Harry Potter fan, if you got all the knowledge, you read all the books, watch all the movies. Great time to come flex your knowledge on some fellow nerds. Get to talking. No booster draft this week, but it will continue next week with Theros Beyond Death. And Sunday, March 15th, is from 4 to 8 is the D&D Adventures League. Spend $5 in the store, get to play for free. Or if you just want to get your D&D action on, pay $5, join the game. It's a great time, great location, fantastic staff. They'll answer all kinds of questions. They do have comic books. Get your box there, get your pull box set up.
Yeah, I got a pull box there.
And then there is a talk of a sale on some backed comics. That's coming up pretty soon as well.
Ooh, all right. That sounds exciting. Make sure to check that. They'll have the dates posted for the back comics sale here very, very soon. And, we'll be right back with some more Nerd Thug Sports coming your way.
Making pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
Hey everybody, I'd like to introduce Tiger Rock Martial Arts. With 4 great locations that are open to all members, Tiger Rock offers world-class training with top-level instructors teaching self-defense and jiu-jitsu, among other courses. Designed to help improve physical fitness and raise confidence, Tiger Rock's martial arts is able to start working with anyone 4 years old and up to show them the life skills and focus it takes to succeed in the modern world. Anyone interested in a fun, energetic way to make a positive life change should absolutely reach out to Tiger Rock Martial Arts and get started changing their life for the better. TigerRockMartialArts.com. The Adventure Begins, Comics, Games, and More is open on 1488 at 525 Woodland Square Boulevard. With comics, games, and everything nerd-related, The Adventure Begins is the one-stop nerd shop. On Saturdays, they alternate between having Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and coming up, they also have cosplay crafting and trivia nights and BYOB nights. They're currently offering a 10% discount for limited time, which will be valid for as long as you grab your books every month.
This is Rudy Tomjanovich, and welcome to Nerd Thug Radio.
Making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
What's up, Conroe? Welcome to Nerd Thug Radio right here on 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations, and we're streaming worldwide at IRLoneStar.com. Just hanging out here on this Thursday doing our Nerd Thug Sports thing. I guess it said Nerd Thug Radio in there, didn't I? That's
Yeah.
all right. That's the mothership.
It's the same thing.
It is the same thing. You get the same quality product Monday, Thursday, and Friday right here on 104.5, 106.1.
It's true.
You're welcome, America.
America.
Welcome, America. America. Before we get into anything, let me tell you guys about my friends at Citizens Grill. From chicken fried steak with jalapeno cream gravy to spicy shrimp tacos or our double bone-in pork chop, it's all good at the Woodlands area's newest restaurant and lounge. With 2 full bars, 40 beers on tap, 23 wines by the glass, and our huge family-friendly patio, Citizens Grill is sure to please. Find us on FM 1488 at Old Conroe Road across from the Escape Theater in Del Webb. Open weekdays 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and weekends 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Make sure to go out there. They got a massive patio. It's awesome. The menu's great. Everything's well priced. That's the other thing too. Is I think even the double bone-in pork chops are like $20.
They are.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah, and the desserts are really, really good.
Yeah, the desserts are great. The drinks are great. I don't know why you're not going to Citizens Grill if you can hear my voice. So get on out there, have a good time, enjoy yourself. Yeah. So with the NBA season essentially, okay.
Halted?
So where we're at right now, there's basically like 4 to 5 more weeks of play. Because it's like the first week of April basically usually is the wind down. There's probably games going through like April 10th-ish. Okay? So that being said, I think this means that the NBA is done until the playoffs.
Probably.
They might come back and do like the last 2 weeks of the season.
Maybe.
And then if there's any makeup games or anything of relevance still,
Then they'll play it
out and then start the playoffs. But I'm guessing, for example, Vince Carter went out there at the Hawks-Knicks game, and that was like his last little moment there. His last little, hey, hurrah, yay, yeah. First player to play in, I guess was it 4 decades? Isn't that what we wound up saying when we're talking about Vince Carter?
Yeah.
1990, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020. 4 decades.
That's pretty crazy.
That's nuts. That is just nuts. It's a big deal. Vince Carter is absolutely a big deal. First ballot Hall of Famer. Really important, really great guy. Always said the right thing, did the right thing. Not going to be one of the people who has any sort of trouble transitioning into whatever he wants to do. I promise there are people sitting around right now who are like, hey, come work for us. So expect to see him on NBA or broadcasting games or whatever it is next for him. Also, the dude has made a ton of money.
Good for him.
So hopefully
maybe he doesn't need a new job.
Well, hopefully he's done whatever he wants to do and he's ready to, So some of them like Baron Davis, he went from basketball basically into the movies. He finished his career in Golden State, so he was already in California. So it was kind of an easy transition for him during his off-season and downtime. He would just go down there and make friends and network and hang out, and he was able to produce movies and documentaries and stuff. Mark Cuban does that as well a lot. Kobe Bryant, before he passed, he had started a $100 million venture capital firm.
Yep.
There's just some people who have set aside certain things and they're ready to go. I think A-Rod basically did the same thing when he retired. But that's baseball. But it's the same concept, right? Like
moving out of sports into something else.
You want to have something prepared for you to go to. So whatever that is for Vince Carter, I hope it's something that he's already kind of planned for. Listen, I get it. I would want to stay in the league as long as possible too. Not just for the money, but just for the whole thing. The travel, the prestige. If you're enjoying still playing basketball, what do you like? It's fine.
Yeah.
It might be harder and harder for him to get up in the mornings and to get through the practices and all that. But if he's still performing and maintaining, I don't see play as long as you can. You know, that's what everyone's going to tell you to do. Yeah, if you can be happy on the bench, coming into these different roles as your career shortens, do it.
Right. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, no reason not to enjoy yourself and just play. Play till the boogeyman gets you. I guess. Like why not?
It's 4 decades, pretty good.
4 decades, man. And really, I'm trying to think if there was ever a time where it was like there were no Vince Carter controversies.
Yeah, he's one of the good players that
he kind of always does and says the right thing.
Darn, just no controversy except that he's good.
Yeah. He was Toronto's guy forever. Then he was traded, I think,
for New Toronto's guy.
I think New Jersey, I think, is where he went first. and then he's kind of traveled around since then. Obviously, it's been a long time since he was Vince Carter, but he's still... People will never forget just the springs that came loaded in that guy's legs. He was a dunk champion. In one of the dunk contests, he literally put like his whole arm like to the shoulder through the hoop on the dunk.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was crazy to see. Like he was a different cat. Like his athletic ability amongst these incredible athletes
Was noteworthy.
yeah, was still worth talking about. So Vince Carter's the man. Congrats to him. I don't know what's going to happen with the season, which kind of means you don't know what's going to happen with him. I believe I saw that he had already kind of said this was his last season. He was just going to kind of play it out and enjoy himself in Atlanta and just see what happens. So it'd be cool if they made the playoffs. I don't think Atlanta's even in a position to strike the playoffs. I need to look that up. This was more than likely the last time you see Vince Carter, which is sad, especially given kind of the weird, unceremonious way it ended.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make a ton of sense to be like... I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense for him personally to come back next year just to keep playing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird after you do like a big farewell thing, and it's like super nice. You get honored, and then you're like, hey guys, I came back next year.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I don't know that there's really a place for him.
I thought 2021 would be my year.
Yeah, and Atlanta's 20-47, so
Not a great year for them.
not a great year for them. So
That's okay.
this is the last time you're going to see him, probably.
That's okay.
And then let's see where, if there even were, like, how far games were scheduled.
Come to find out, they got like 12 games in like the next 2 weeks.
I think April 10th is probably the last game. Yeah, so April 15th was the last set of games scheduled. And, like, everybody played April 15th. So more than likely, this is probably the end of the season, I suspect. I don't think you're going to play past this. I don't know. They haven't announced yet. All they've said is they're suspended for the rest. They've suspended for right now. I don't know. I think it's an interesting situation to be in, but of course, congrats to Vince Carter and all of that. How much time we got here?
We still got about 6 minutes.
Okay, cool. I'm going to start to get into this. We'll probably bleed over into the next segment with it. The players, I believe, voted to approve the CBA, or the player reps did. So now it's going to go to the players' union as a whole, and I believe they need half or 2/3 need to approve it, something like that. But it did get roughly 2/3 of approval from the players' union reps, so I suspect it's going to follow that. If that happens, if everyone agrees to this current deal or the proposition that's on the table, then things can start moving around. For example, we can start to finally find out where Tom Brady is going to go.
Oh, man.
He has had zero talks with anybody, which already to me is an indicator. That to me is already an indicator that he's willing to leave. If he wasn't willing to leave at all, he already would have gone to New England and said, when the new CBA gets settled, I'll come in and we'll sign something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have already just done that. There's no reason not to. If you're staying, there's no reason to draw it out, right? If you're staying, there's no reason to say anything other than, I love you guys, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, why even rock the boat? Like, why even let anything else come out? The first time someone's like, oh, it looks like Tom Brady may be leaving New England, and Bob Kraft calls Tom Brady and says, hey, Tommy, what's this about you leaving? He'd be like, come on, man, you know the media, like, the second the CBA is set, I'm coming in and I'm signing. And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and announce that, cool. And he's like, yeah, no big deal, whatever. That's not what happened.
Nope.
As the rumors have spread and swirled and grown and the fire has been stoked,
Radio silence.
complete radio silence. Zero talks between Tom Brady and New England. That tells me that at the very least, he wants to know what the numbers can be for him, so he needs the CBA. And then once he knows what the numbers can be, he wants to know who has the ability to give him those numbers.
Oof.
And that I think is the big part. I think he wants to go somewhere and get maybe not. Okay, look. Right now, Dak Prescott is allegedly asking for $40 million to
Which isn't
sign.
gonna-
No, not
He's
even a
asking
little
for $40 million to be a 500 team.
bit. He wants $40 million to be a Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback with no playoff wins. I don't think they have a playoff win with him as quarterback. They might have one. I think they have one playoff win. I think he has as many playoff wins as Tony Romo does. So they each have one. He wants $40 million on year 5. Good luck with that.
Not going to happen. They didn't sign you last year. They're not going to do it again.
Right.
Not like you wowed him.
It's not. Yeah. That's the thing, man. He
started
played
off
his hand. He
yeah.
played. It started off good.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I got this, and then it was just nothing.
Week 4, he should have signed whatever offer was on the table there.
Yeah, he would have been like, I need something now.
That would have been his because it starts to go downhill from week 4.
What are they 3-1 week 4, or are they 4-0?
I think they're 4-0 because I think they go 4-0 and then they lose to the Saints, I believe.
Yeah,
And then it starts going boo 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 boo, boo and they finish 8-8.
Amazing.
So, which means they go 4-8 the last 12.
Also means their head coach was like 500 over like 12 years or something like that.
I think he wound up because I think last year they had like 10 wins or 11 wins.
Uh-huh.
So I think he was like 4 games over 500.
Wow, amazing.
But he also
The most 500 organization.
like 8 of his 12 years with the Cowboys they were 500.
Yeah.
So like it's
just bad.
a remarkably average career. A remarkably average career for a remarkably average team, which is what the Cowboys don't consider themselves. They don't consider themselves average. So the idea that their quarterback has to be the highest paid guy is kind of almost like an ego thing, which is why I think Dak is even pushing the issue, because I think they offered 30 and he goes, guys,
I'm Dak.
I'm a Cowboys starting quarterback. I've got to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
And then to which their finance team goes, that's cute.
To which Jerry Jones says, he's a Cowboy. He's a Cowboy. I mean, he's not wrong about that.
Dallas. They don't know anything. It's the only part of Texas I don't like.
So
Dallas isn't Texas.
I don't think Tom Brady is going to get 40. I don't think he wants 40.
I think he wants to go somewhere and prove himself.
I think he wants to go somewhere and win, but I think he wants to do it at a high price, somewhere where he enjoys it. So I think he wants to go to a team that's essentially pseudo-complete and upgrade them at quarterback.
One of them. We only need a quarterback teams.
Yeah, personally, I'm of the position. I've never seen a team that only needed a quarterback that actually really only needed a quarterback. I guess the Denver Broncos team, but they also made improvements on defense in other places too when they brought in Peyton Manning.
Right.
So it's not quite the same thing. But yeah, I think Tom Brady wants to go somewhere and put $30 million in his pocket. You know, I think he wants to go somewhere and put $30 million, win 10 or 11 games, and go to a Super Bowl, go to an AFC Championship or NFC Championship,
Right.
without Bill Belichick. All right, we're going to jump out here to a break. When we come back, we're going to have some more Nerd Thug Radio come your way. Nerd Thug Sports all day Thursday.
I mean, from like it's
Yeah.
like an hour.
Eh. Push the button.
Oh, okay.
Bang the gavel. I think you have to bang the gavel to end the meeting.
Making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
The Adventure Begins, Comics, Games, and More is open on 1488 at 525 Woodland Square Boulevard. With comics, games, and everything nerd-related, The Adventure Begins is the one-stop nerd shop. On Saturdays, they alternate between having Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and coming up, they also have cosplay crafting and trivia nights and BYOB nights. They're currently offering a 10% discount for limited time, which will be valid for as long as you grab your books every month. Hey everybody, I'd like to introduce Tiger Rock Martial Arts. With 4 great locations that are open to all members, Tiger Rock offers world-class training with top-level instructors teaching self-defense and jiu-jitsu among other courses. Designed to help improve physical fitness and raise confidence, Tiger Rock's martial arts is able to start working with anyone 4 years old and up to show them the life skills and focus it takes to succeed in the modern world. Anyone interested in a fun, energetic way to make a positive life change should absolutely reach out to Tiger Rock Martial Arts and get started changing their life for the better. TigerRockMartialArts.com. From chicken fried steak with jalapeno cream gravy to spicy shrimp tacos or a double bone-in pork chop, there are many items listed on the menu of the Woodlands area's newest restaurant and lounge. With 2 full bars, 40 beers on tap, 23 wines by the glass, and a large, family-friendly patio, Citizens Grill is designed to create a fun atmosphere. Interested in hungry parties can find them on FM 1488 at Old Conroe Road across from the Escape Theater and Del Webb, open weekdays 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and weekends 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And interested parties should absolutely check out the Nerd Thug Radio events pages for specials. Hi, Conroe. Corey DLG of Nerd Thug Radio. For people interested in saving money on car and home insurance, they should contact Sean Myers Insurance Services. If you look on Google, you'll see plenty of 5-star reviews for these guys. They're great. They're an independent agent able to shop over 15 national carriers to find the best coverage at the best price for that customer. They do specialize in home insurance as well as bundling with auto to maximize discounts. They would want you to know that they consider their customers family and that their policy is caring, and their goal is to bring value by going through your coverage line by line to make sure you actually understand what you have. The interested party should call 936-760-5963 if they're interested in saving money on car insurance today.
Hi, this is Kevin Smith, former Dallas Cowboy, Texas A&M Aggie as well, and I want to say what's up to Nerd Thug Radio.
Baking pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Baking pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon.
Welcome back, Conroe, to Nerd Thug Sports, hanging out here on 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations, and streaming worldwide at irlonestar.com. Make sure to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio.
Oh.
Boo, 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 boo. Nico, before we get into anything here, go ahead and tell everybody about our friends, Donald Williams over there at Sean Myers Insurance.
Donald Williams with Sean Myers Insurance wanted you to know that they shop over 15 national carriers trying to find the best deals for you at the best price. Specializing in home insurance, specializing in home and bundling with auto to find the best savings for you. They want you to know that they're part of your family. They want you to. They're going to go with you line by line. Make sure you're saving the most amount of money. Make sure you're getting the right coverage that fits you best and saving the most money for you. Call them at 936-760-5963. It's 936-760-5963. Donald Williams with Sean Myers Insurance.
All right. Donald Williams, longtime friend of the show.
He's been on a few times.
Been on Donnie, Utah. Come on a few times. Yeah, so he wants to save you guys money, work with you guys, doing the insurance thing, so work with him. Save up. Give him an opportunity to save you some money if it's possible.
All right.
Yeah, so we're talking about Tom Brady and how he really just hasn't shut the door on any of it.
Yeah, no, he hasn't made any statements. He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't really. It's a lot of attention and controversy to invite if you're staying.
Right, definitely. Because and he's been oddly vocal this year, doing interviews which he's never done before, talking very different than he usually does. So this has just been a wild year for him in terms of just like him being in the public eye, which he almost never was before.
Correct. And so for him, I think what it is all right, so imagine you're going to work every day and you're the best guy at your company, all right?
Yeah.
You're not the boss, but let's say you're the top salesman at your firm, okay? Every day you go to work and you sell tires, all right? So you go to work and you bust your butt and you sell more tires than anyone else. And you keep coming in every day and you're grinding out and you're selling tires. Then your company becomes the #1 tire seller in the country. And every year they're battling it out for the title of #1 tire seller, okay? This is what I like to do. I like to personalize things. I like to make them real. Tom Brady is a guy who at the end of the day is going to work, okay? Mm-hmm. His job is quarterback. It's a different job than everyone else. I think everyone can agree on that. But the reality is every day he's getting up and he's going to work. He's working out in the gym. He's eating a particular way. He's doing certain things about his life to be a successful quarterback. He is dedicating himself to this, all right? This is what keeps him away from his family. It's what keeps him away from his friends. It's what keeps him away from social engagements. This is the thing that he worries about. This is the thing that he thinks about.
Mm-hmm.
This is his job. Well, the past couple years, while they've experienced success again, it's been harder for him. It's been harder for him. But they've been there. They've won Super Bowls, and so... But this year, this time around, it just didn't feel right. The office recently went through some changes. All of a sudden, the people he's working with aren't as good as they used to be. There's mess-ups happening at different places in the company. Suddenly, the warehouse is getting orders wrong. Suddenly, things that are outside of the control of a salesman or a quarterback aren't happening. The offensive line is struggling. The receivers aren't playing well. They're not very good. The defense is having a down year. Suddenly there's a bunch of things. Actually, the defense was what was helping them win games in the beginning. So let me be totally fair about that. The offense stunk, but the defense was winning. The defense was special at the beginning of the year. It's hard to envision, not succeeding, right? Like, it's hard to imagine that, but they didn't. And he's getting up every day. He's working out every day. He's dieting. He's dealing with the same pressures and issues he's always had. And even though they're winning, his coworkers aren't pulling their weight.
Right.
So the sales team all of a sudden, as a floor, are nailing their quota. But individually, it's him mostly.
In spite of everything else.
Correct. It's 9 guys aren't doing their job, but Tom Brady's still so good at his that they're still winning. So suddenly he starts pointing that out and starts saying in the room, hey guys, y'all gotta get better. Like, we're not gonna keep hitting our quota if you guys don't sell more tires. Well, that's not really the attitude of a guy who considers everyone else the same as him.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not the attitude of an employee who has longed for this company. Usually when you work somewhere and someone starts going, boy, you guys are really screwing this up. Well, they no longer consider themselves part of the group, do they?
No, it's exclusionary.
Right. And they no longer consider themselves on the team. It's certainly not their fault that you're not hitting your quota. So suddenly there's a disconnect somewhere in the organization. And let's be really very clear about this. Everything you hear about Bill Belichick makes it very easy to believe that he is not a fun guy to work for.
Yeah.
If there's ever one person you don't want to go to the office and see every day, it's Bill Belichick.
Right.
It's like when you're being recruited for the job, a headhunter comes to you and they go, hey man, literally the best tire guy in the industry runs this company. There's not a better guy to put around tires than this guy. And you go, man, that's a big deal. It's got to be real easy to sell tires when I point out that I work for Bill Belichick of tires.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get there and you meet him, and it's exactly what you think. The only thing he cares about is tires. So forget you. Forget your problems. Forget your issues. Show up early. Clock in on time. Move my tires.
That's the only thing I need you to do.
That's it. I don't care about anything else. Don't care what you do outside of it. Don't make your trouble my trouble. If I got to answer questions about you, you're my problem.
You're gone.
Right. So he's not the guy that you want to work for because you want to feel good about yourself. He's the guy you want to work for because you want to succeed. Well, they didn't succeed last year. So what did you come to work for all year? What did you kick your butt for all year? What did you give up your kids and your family and your supermodel wife and your very easy life for if you didn't win?
Right.
And you're in a unique position. Finally, it's the end of a contract. I'm literally staring at literal freedom. They can't franchise me. The only option is that I agree to re-sign. I am literally 100% in control of what happens next. And it also happens to come at a time when the team isn't very good offensively. They need receivers. They need offensive line help. They need running backs. And oh, by the way, they don't have a lot of cap room. And if I leave, they have even less. If he leaves, there's about $20 million in dead cap they got to take care of.
Oh,
So if I'm Tom Brady and I don't want to be here, I get to hurt you when I leave. As a player, there are very few times in a career that is ever on the table.
oh yeah.
Tom Brady is in the most unique situation of any player I've seen in recent NFL history because players don't usually get to this position. Drew Brees is in kind of a similar one in the sense that he can just tell the Saints when he's done. But in the meantime, they're going to keep signing into 2-year, 3-year deals because he's playing at a great level and he wants to keep playing there. So they accept the compliment of his presence and they continue to pay him a good but not amazing deal. I believe last year it was somewhere around $25 million to be the starting quarterback at the New Orleans Saints. It's not the highest paid, but it's also not a bad gig.
No, especially because they're smaller contracts.
Yeah, and I believe it puts him somewhere in the between like 15 and 10 in pay. But most importantly, it gives him a little bit of room to do some other stuff. And again, I think it was a 2-year deal, so I think it was $50 million for both years, or 40 for both years, and it's 15 and 20, something like that. So, yeah, for Drew Brees, it was a perfect fit. 2 more years, yeah, I can do that. And now he's at the end of it, and he's looking at another one. And he says, "I think I'm ready. I want to come back one more time." It'll be 2 years and $50 million.
All right.
It's not going to be complicated. Tom Brady's in the unique position where he can literally just set a number, call every team in the NFL. And about 20 teams are taking the call.
And I'm genuinely pretty much almost every team's taking the call.
If you're the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, you're not taking the call. If you're the Saints, you're not taking the call.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
If you're the Steelers, you're not. But yeah, about 20 to 20. I don't even want to go 25. I think there's about 20 teams that are for sure taking the call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see the Texans not taking the call. I could see, there's probably even some bad teams that I could see not taking it because they're stupid. But like Seattle's not taking the call. They're not going to move Russell Wilson to bring in Tom Brady. Green Bay's not taking the call.
But he had a great season last year.
Right, but even if he'd had a bad season, they're not going to move Aaron Rodgers for Tom Brady. But there are teams who are going to take the call. The 49ers is a team that might take the call. They were just in the Super Bowl, and Jimmy Garoppolo is a young dude. But I think there are some people who feel like, man, if we had Tom Brady instead of Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl, we probably would have won it.
It's a rough deal.
If that happens, I got to think Jimmy Garoppolo develops a syndrome of some kind where like
he's always being replaced by Tom Brady.
This will be like the third time him and Tom Brady have danced and he lost. Like,
right.
There's no getting around that at this point.
Yeah.
He will forever be Tom Brady's backup, like the permanent Tom Brady, like wannabe at this point. Like, there's no getting around it.
His wife's going to divorce him, marry Tom
Brady to be Tom Brady's sister wife. Like it just never gets any better for him.
Goes to buy a car and they sell it to Tom Brady.
Ooh, the one we talked about actually was purchased by a Mr. Thomas Brady. But we do have this slightly worse version, right? And he's like, never mind. Don't worry about it. I'm going home. I'm just going to Uber.
And then when he gets home, Tom Brady's living in his house.
Yeah. Tom Brady moved in next door, but he combined 2 houses together.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, it's bigger? Of course it is. 2 pools? Yeah, why not? An indoor pool that connects to the outdoor. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Everyone else is gonna be doing it next year anyway.
Didn't even know I wanted it. All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's like a 12% possibility, and
it's weird that you have an exact number for that.
It's one of those things that every single team in the league will always look at an upgrade that's an easy one like that, because cutting Jimmy G probably only will cost him a couple $1 million, and putting Tom Brady in will only cost him whatever he asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is something that internally some teams do and some teams don't. where they grade a player down to like a number. Some teams just grade players A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Or probably just school A, B, C, D, F. Some teams probably, they used to do this where like someone would have like an actual number in the draft. Like, oh, so-and-so, we had him as a 94. And there's internal metrics that they can totally break down and show you exactly where they got it from. I'm willing to bet Tom Brady somehow is still a couple points over Jimmy G in San Francisco's mind.
Probably.
So it's not something that I really see happening. I just think it would be too circular, even though sports is circular.
Everything just makes sense.
It's too much sense.
Right.
It just feels too connected in that regard.
It's one of those like super serendipitous, like everything works out in the end kind of ways that sports always does for some reason.
Exactly. And honestly, Kyle Shanahan might just want the strength of the arm of Jimmy G. Kyle Shanahan wants to be able to do different things offensively, and Tom Brady might not be able to do them all anymore. Age may actually be a factor in this. But I promise you, if San Francisco, for some reason, did do this, New England would immediately call Jimmy Garoppolo and immediately bring him in and work out a deal where, like, this year we'll give you $9 million and next year we'll give you all the money that Tom Brady should have gotten but didn't. Like, you know, like,
right.
Because they're going to get, like, 15 years younger at quarterback to get the guy that 4 years ago they thought was better.
This is true.
We're going to jump out to a break here because we're just up against it. But I do think that this is something to watch. I genuinely believe Tom Brady is moving teams. Realistically, I think Tennessee. A lot of people are saying Oakland because they do crazy things. I don't think Tom Brady wants to put up with John Gruden's mess.
That's fair.
I think John Gruden is just annoying enough for Tom Brady to go, nah, I don't want to do that for a year. Not all year. If I'm getting rid of Bill Belichick,
I want someone else.
I want someone I want to work with. That's gonna be what matters. Where he goes is where he's gonna feel like he is the diva. He's gonna be treated special. He's gonna be kind of catered to and catered on, and everything is gonna be built around him. Where Peyton Manning essentially ran the offensive half of the Denver Broncos. That's the sort of thing Tom Brady wants. We're gonna jump out here. When we come back, we got more Nerd Thug Sports coming up for you.
Baking pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
From chicken fried steak with jalapeno cream gravy to spicy shrimp tacos or a double bone-in pork chop, there are many items listed on the menu of the Woodlands area's newest restaurant and lounge. With 2 full bars, 40 beers on tap, 23 wines by the glass, and a large, family-friendly patio, Citizens Grill is designed to create a fun atmosphere. Interested in hungry parties can find them on FM 1488 at Old Conroe Road across from the Escape Theater and Del Webb, open weekdays 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and weekends 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And interested parties should absolutely check out the Nerd Thug Radio events pages for specials. Hi, Conroe. Corey DLG of Nerd Thug Radio. For people interested in saving money on car and home insurance, they should contact Sean Myers Insurance Services. If you look on Google, you'll see plenty of 5-star reviews for these guys. They're great. They're an independent agent able to shop over 15 national carriers to find the best coverage at the best price for that customer. They do specialize in home insurance as well as bundling with auto to maximize discounts. They would want you to know that they consider their customers family and that their policy is caring and their goal is to bring value by going through your coverage line by line to make sure you actually understand what you have. Interested parties should call 936-760-5963 if they're interested in saving money on car insurance today.
Hey, Hayward Jeffries, former Houston Oilers wide receiver, on Nerd Thug Radio.
Baking pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Sports, coming here on 104.5, 106.1, the sister station, streaming worldwide at IRLoneStar.com. Before we get into anything, let me tell you guys about my friend Anthony Rowe, the mobile mechanic, road service and repair, getting you back on the road with a smile. 281-670-5822, 281-670-5822. Go to www.mobileroadservicemechanic.com. He can do everything from computer diagnostics, engine lights, fix-a-flat, battery change, lockout, oil changes, brakes, towing, and service repairs. He also services big rigs and motorcycles. The dude knows his stuff. He helped me get an alternator on and off in under an hour, including picking up the part. Anthony Rowe, it's a good dude. Reach out to him. Have him help you get you back on the road. Mm-hmm. So before we get out of here, I just want to say Major League Baseball's opening day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They need to delay it.
Probably.
They need to just put a pause on it. And
just like everything else.
And just wait and see what everyone else does. Because here's the thing. It's about $4 million in concessions a ball game. There's 80 ball games at home. The NBA, at this point in the season, can probably play to empty stadiums. March Madness is going to be played to an empty stadium. March Madness makes most of the money from the TV deal. Not a problem. A lot of these baseball teams rely on every dollar they get. Not every one of them is the same thing as the NFL in basketball. The TV deal isn't as good for baseball. Mm-hmm. So some of these teams are not making the kind of money that they can afford to just play baseball without fans there spending the money.
Right.
It's about $4 million a game estimate on concessions and merchandise.
It's 4 times 80's a lot.
$320 million. I don't think they can pay the players and give that up. Obviously, they can. Let's be clear. Some of these teams have like a $70 million payroll. They can. But there's lots of other things that get affected. There's the minor league teams. There's the there's the staff. There's the tour guides. There's the city economies. There's all the other stuff that goes into play. There's the employees for the concessions and all these other things that gets that gets overlooked in these matters. Major League Baseball, you guys need to do the right thing. You need to kind of take a look around, take temperature of everything, and realize that even if you just wait 2 weeks, just hold your breath and slow up just a little bit. And look around and say, let's just take 2 weeks and then we'll check back. I think that's a smart thing to do, and I think to get ahead of everything before the tension starts building and say it now, I think would make things a lot easier for a lot of people. Plus, if travel's one of the issues, how much do you want your players traveling to come into town to get ready if you don't know if you're even going to play?
Yeah, you could save money on that end.
You could save money, but also save trouble. Like, what if someone has to travel through a place where there is someone infected?
And now they're stuck for 2 weeks and they're not going to show up. You might as well just
let them stay home. Why mess with it? It seems like it's the prudent thing to do, but I don't know what's going to happen there. Everybody keep an eye on it. Everybody stay safe. Wash your hands, of course, but more importantly, just be aware. Just pay attention. On behalf of myself and little brother Nico, on behalf of Anthony Rue, the mobile mechanic, on behalf of Donald Williams, Tiger Rock Martial Arts. Boy, that was
Martial Rock.
Citizens Grill, and The Adventure Begins, comics, games, and more. Thank you very much for listening. Same Nerd Thug time, same Nerd Thug channel.